To start off, I'm going to invite Ann Stattleman to talk first about, I didn't clear this with them, by the way, so you see the genuine surprise that's why. But Ann's going to talk a little bit about the impact of these issues on social services throughout the Pueblo community. Thanks, Ann.
Can everyone hear me? Okay. So it's no secret I've talked about this for a long time, but in January 2014, social service agencies in Pueblo started to see a huge increase in out-of-state individuals and in families requesting shelter and services. A limited number have benefits and housing from out of state. Some came to work in the industry and used marijuana, and people didn't come to our community to be homeless, but they ended up homeless because they had such limited resources, and agencies here just could not handle it. Exacerbating the problem was that many of our new folks from out of state often come with severe mental and physical disabilities, and they receive disability as their primary form of payment. So they're coming, they're poor, and they're adding to our community of poverty. Currently, those folks that receive disability are about 40% of our population here in Pueblo. So agencies in our community that provide basic needs assistance have actually reported almost a tripling of folks coming since January of 2014. So some examples. The Pueblo Community Soup Kitchens now serves over 200 clients per day. They used to average 80 to 100, and their annual cost for this increase is over $39,000. The Cooperative Care Center has had to hire security guards, and increasingly violent clients harass and verbally assault their volunteers. Annually, their center spends over $500,000 on food and other items that go to families that are from out of state. In the last quarter of 2016, they served 502 households from out of state, and many self-reported that they were here for the industry. The Center for Disabilities report a 56% increase in requests for food pantry assistance since January 2014. And I can talk about my agency, Posada. In 2013, we served 2,444 unduplicated men, women, and children. This past year, we served over 7,800 unduplicated men, women, and children. Approximately a third of those report that they come to Pueblo for pot and for Medicaid expansion. So we have many cost increases due to vandalism, due to extra services. We can't serve everybody that comes to us. We have many families that don't have shelter every night. And according to Pastor Doug Cox, the Pueblo City Police Chaplain Fund used $25,000 last year of pot taxes to send 632 folks back to their homes, including 166 children. That money, by the way, is gone. And speaking of children, in 2016, the Caring Pregnancy Center reported that 27% of the mothers they tested positive for marijuana. We continue to see young adults come to Pueblo who have severe mental health issues, who really assume that marijuana would help them get off harder drugs. There's been an increase in homeless camps. That's been well reported throughout Pueblo. Outreach work during the summer of 2016 shows us that there's high drug use in the camps, and many new people in the camps report that they came to Pueblo for the purpose of using pot. E.Coli levels are high as human waste and trash increase along the river, and many local chronically homeless people report that there are new homeless folks that are much more violent and end up taking their resources and their camp areas. I think what's truly unfortunate is that agencies that serve the homeless in Pueblo report that it's more difficult and dangerous now than ever before to serve those folks. And what's disheartening for many of us is that we don't have resources for local homeless people. So instead of spending our resources on short-term fixes, what I like to call toxic charity, that increase poverty and vagrancy in our community, Posada, for one, will be focusing on the provision of basic needs, or less on the provision of basic needs, and more on things like permanent and transitional housing. Because the bottom line is that human suffering has increased in our community, and it is heartbreaking. Ask any one of our caseworkers that has to deal with a family with children that's come across state lines and does not have resources. We know that requests for service far outweigh what we can give, and we can't wait for the external factors that drive poverty and homelessness in Pueblo to change. So we have to drive the change, and we have to work towards situations that foster self-sufficiency in our community. Thank you.